Hey, it's Sickboy from the Gaming Anarchist Collective, and just wanted to do a video that's going to just explain a bit more about who we are, because there are some of you who don't really know, and to explain a restructuring that we want to be doing to our channel. If you've been watching our videos, you'll notice that over the last few, we've actually added a couple of little subtitles to the beginning of them. That's because we kind of feel that this was all something that I took on myself to be doing. And it was very ad hoc, and it kind of started as this, me just bringing up certain points and things, and it's since become something a bit more structured. It's kind of evolved organically into delivering news, doing rants, covering various things, so we kind of want to formalise that a lot more. And just want to give this video to give you guys an expectation of what to expect. Just so you know, there's going to be nothing topical in this video. So if all you want to do is hear about particular issues or hear about the news, this video is not going to be for you, and it may go on for quite some time. So this is going to be for everybody who subscribes to this or will want to subscribe to this. I'm going to point people to it when they ask questions. It's kind of going to be a first off kind of FAQ video, just to explain what we are, who we are, and what we're doing here, and why I'm sitting here talking to you. Okay, so basically, my name's Sickboy, and I'm here representing the Gaming Anarchist Collective. Now that is a bit of a misleading name. We had a lot of discussions about what we should call ourselves, really. Essentially, I'm here as a spokesperson representing you, representing gamers both as in defending gamers within the community when there's bad practice like bullying or discrimination or anything. We want to stand up, we want to stand against that sort of thing. So we're for gamers against people who are bullying or acting like arseholes in the community. Also, we're here to bash the industry and the media as and when required. That's going to be something we'll be doing more often than not, it seems, because it's just this constant stream of bullshit coming out of the industry and out of the media. But that's going to be one of our primary focuses, is going to be to call the media to account, essentially, to identify bullshit, to what we see as bullshit, and to give the consumer an alternative voice and opinion as to what's going on. We're not going to claim that what we believe and what I'm going to be putting forward as an argument is absolute and right, but it's going to be that we've looked at it, we've considered what is going to be the impact with regards to your average gamer, to a decent gamer, and then come to a conclusion that's going to support them. So it's going to be very one-sided. There's no point. I'm going to, occasionally make a capitulation and explain that there are certain things that, I understand. We understand and appreciate certain things, but at the same time, ultimately, this is for the benefit of the gamer. So it will, for example, if it comes between profits for a company or quality and lower cost for the gamer, you know what we're going to be going for. The reason our name's a bit confusing, one, because the word anarchist is somewhat been misused, somewhat been misappropriated by punk, and I'm generally quite a fan of punk, but it became this negative thing, this destructive thing, when in its essence it is, but it comes from Greek, anarchos, meaning without king, without leader, without ruler. So the whole point being that, and there is no, we don't like the way that the organisation and the way the structure and the way the society of the gaming industry is. So we're anarchic in that sense, as in we don't like the fact that publishers push developers sometimes to suicide, that journalists essentially twist the truth and do the bidding of publishers and developers in order to sell advertising space to them. Don't like that pressure groups try and they'll try and call us out for being freaks and saddos and dangerous people, that the government doesn't support us. All of these things that are a structure and an organisation, and we're against essentially all of the negative aspects of it, and that's where we're anarchic, and that's what that means. Of course, gamer, obviously we're gamers. So, and collective, it can be thought of in the wrong way, because collective, people seem to think of a hive mind and like a single opinion and a single purpose, and people seem to think that that might equate to some kind of Stalinist attitude of do what I say, follow the hive mind, blah 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 blah. But that's not what we're talking about. A collective as in we're all gamers and we're all equal as gamers. If you're a gamer, We're all gamers, we're all part of a community. Although it's a virtual community, though it's not a real community, it is in essence, it should be a community. It's not really. People like to refer to the gaming community. There is no real community. There are forums and groups and things. And just we want to do our bit and bring people together as gamers all over the world with different opinions. Discussion is something that we really like. Really, I personally as well, I love a discussion. People may mistake, I am argumentative by nature, but when I'm argumentative, it's not like an aggressive thing. We're not. If I have an opinion and you don't agree with me and you want to argue with me, I'm never really going to get angry at your opinion unless you're abusive. Your opinion wouldn't offend me. Your behaviour might, but I will listen to and discuss, and that's something that we want to promote. We want to promote discussion because we want to have agreed certain standards within gamers, what we expect from the industry. And without this discussion, without this agreement, we're all just individuals. We're all throwing in our little bit of money here and there, buying our individual games, or some people won't buy many used games, so the industry itself doesn't care about them, but they're still gamers. They still buy the consoles, they still will buy the second-hand games, say they don't buy new games, because people often trade in their new games for money to buy more new games, and the people buy those second-hand games, so it keeps the economy going. So for people to say, for example, all used gamers, or people who buy used games, they're all wrong and need to be stopped, again, something that we're entirely against. We're for what is best for the entire gaming community, which includes the gaming industry. None of us really want to see even EA or Capcom necessarily go under. What we would like them to do is reform their practices, and if they won't reform their practices, then I would suggest that I personally boycott EA products. I don't like them. I don't like the way they act. No matter how good their game is, if I'll buy it used, so they don't get a penny from me. And that's something that, again, something that as the Gaming Anarchist Collective, if I were to say I'm going to boycott this game, I'm not saying to be part of us, to agree with us in principle means you have to do exactly what we say to do, because we're not trying to dictate what you should do as a gamer. But what we do want to do is bring people together. Have people to collaborate with us, have people working together. You know, we want to work with people from all over the world in your individual countries, because every country's got their own challenges. Whether it be public perception of games, whether it be access to games, whether it be stores jacking up prices, or they're not releasing games in your country, or they're charging too much for them. You know, we want this to sort of be the start of something, because there is very little of a concerted effort to get gamers together, and that's something that we want to start doing. And it's a long road, we've got a long way to go. It's not very popular to complain and bring these things up. People don't like to be bothered with it, and we would like to encourage more people to be bothered about it, to care, to think, if it doesn't bother you, is it wrong to somebody else? And if it is wrong to somebody else, you should speak out against it. You don't have to, but I would like to encourage you to. And what it takes to essentially be part of the Gaming Anarchist Collective is literally just to want to be. Just to want to work with us, communicate with us, feel free to take some responsibility. You know, we have people who have approached us via Twitter or via Facebook or via YouTube, wanting to do something, providing information, offer some suggestions, do something, because this is not. A lot of YouTube channels are about the person. Now, I am doing these YouTube channels. I'm generally considered the best person to blurt out, because I can just talk crap ad nauseum and bring out stuff, and I'm good at explaining my arguments, and I'm quite good. It's something that I'm good at, so this is something that I do. This doesn't mean that anybody if any of you guys want to come and work and be part of this, and be part of this movement, because we want this to be a movement. I do, we all do. We want this to be a movement. We want gamers to work together and see things get better. And it's not about working for me, for my fame. Just because I'm the person here on YouTube, and I'm often the person typing online, if you've spoken to me on Facebook or on Twitter, almost guaranteed it's me. It's what I do. That's just one of the things I bring to the That's one of the things I want to bring to the organisation. So it's not about my personal notoriety or my fame. You'll notice, I mean, we've accepted recently, we decided to go with a YouTube partnership, but we haven't. We've monetised a couple of our less important videos. The two, you may have seen them, and you may have not. Very few people have, but I dicked around because I do like doing silly voices and stuff, and I dicked around with you see here, my little Pac-Man on a pencil piece of cardboard. That was just a bit of fun. And, you know, nobody really cared about it. It was just a little bit of fun for my own amusement. May do more of them. But decided to monetise them just because you have to monetise something. And only 70 people have watched it anyway. So it's, in fact, only 2 or 3 since we monetised it. So, you know, it's not about making money. At this point, we're not going to monetise any news or any rants. We don't want to. If the organisation grows and requires funding, then we want to try and get it from the community. We want to work together and pool our resources. You know, I put my time and money into this organisation, as do other people. They use their resources, they use their time, they use their effort, and if necessary, if we need something, but it will just be about funding what we want to get done. It will not be about paying me or paying anybody else. There is no profit here to be made. There is profit to be made on YouTube. There's probably made from you know, bottom, you know, common denominator, popularist stuff, and that's not what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this to bring across an alternative view, because there aren't many people who bring alternative view, and there are people, and there are some very good people who do it. Most notably, people like Event Status, people like Alpha Omega Sin. They're very good at doing that, and they're great, and they're entertaining. And for example, someone like Event, he branches out and does other things. He does art, he does sport. Alpha Omega Sin, you know, he rants about anything kind of geeky that he likes, any anime collector stuff. He'll talk about issues. He'll also, you know, do other stuff. But for someone like that, but certainly Alpha Omega Sin, for example, he's very much he's doing it as an entertainment. He's an entertainer. He's doing this as a side gig, and he's making a little bit of money off it. And good luck to him. I hope that it's successful. But this is purely about getting as many people together as possible. This is not a commercial enterprise. This isn't me or anybody else profiteering off it. This is something I do because I get angry and I care when I see things going wrong and I see people taking advantage of. I don't like it. I don't like to see people. I don't like to see people tell kids that they're monsters for playing games, or that adults are freaks who live in their mother's basement, which is the usual boring, banal shit that people bring out. And, you know, everybody who's commented, everyone who's contributed, essentially, there is no membership process. If you want to be part of us, you want to work with us, you want to start a YouTube channel and include it as, you know, and work with us on that, please do it. Please do it. The only requisites that we would say that is necessary to be an active voice and actively work with regards to the Gaming Anarchist Collective is to know that you actually are caring about the community, caring about gaming in general, and caring about what is best for the gaming in general. So if you are plugging, if you say, well, say we got big as a which is unlikely that we're going to be that popular, because it's not very popularist to be to have this kind of attitude. It's quite a minority, which is why we need to be very vocal, because people often don't know when they're being shafted, and it takes people who try and bash us are very, very loud and very aggressive about bashing us, and people aren't loud or aggressive enough about bashing back and defending themselves, and that's something that we're here for. So provided you want to do this for the benefit of the gaming industry, for the benefit of gamers primarily, and to ensure that we have that the industry is sustainable and profitable without taking advantage of consumers, then that's all it takes to be one of us and to work with us. That's it. Ideally, we would like people from as many countries as possible looking to provide information. You know, let us know what is the problems in your country. Generally, because although there's cultural differences, the UK and the US share a lot of the issues and problems, though they're different. So, for the most part, a lot of what I will be talking about is specifically about the UK or specifically about Europe or the US. So, you know, and of course there are plenty of other places in the world who have other problems. or have the same problems, or have the problems worse. And what we want to do ultimately is to go from this, you know, we've got a Twitter feed, a blog, a YouTube channel, Facebook page. What we want to do is try and bring together as much as we can, and that may mean putting together a website, putting together a method of reviewing games that doesn't give a score to it, it doesn't give as such, it analyses the game and says, well, this is what the game has in it. These are some features you may or may not like depending on your viewpoint, and then have people maybe offer their opinion. I like this game, I don't like this game, from a different point of view, you know, something like that, you know, and a way to have a voice, because the media, the gaming media, is entirely against us. All they're there for is to facilitate us spending money. And that's why we need to stand up and be the voice of the gaming community. We all do, as gamers. We can all do it. We've got the internet, we can get this news, we can compile it together, we can communicate it between ourselves. We don't need to click bomb Machinima or IGN, or if they're going to be dicks, why give them any money? Why allow them to spread whatever people want to sell and put it to us? So that's in essence why I'm talking and why I'm doing these videos and what the Gaming Anarchist Collective is here for. Right, with regards to the channel, we wanted to make some changes because things were very unstructured, and it was all very much, you know, this all started, the YouTube channel all started in December. We opened it in October but started posting in mid-December. Mainly, the first idea was because I just had a very long journey with bad traffic, and I decided, you know what, I'll just put my camera on, and originally it wasn't about having my face on here. But ultimately it seems to work better having a human face communicating these things than an anonymous face, because although it's not about me, I don't want it to be about me, it makes more sense to have someone communicating it. Someone who can communicate it, someone that can be a human face to communicate this. So that's how it's evolved, and it eventually evolved with issues, with trolling, and then it became with issues and as and when they came up, and then decided that really it's best to try and get news information out there, because we get news stories, we get on internet, on the internet and in magazines less so, but mostly on the internet we do get gaming news, but it's all spun in a way that just confuses you and knackers you up. And one thing that I have a good eye for is bullshit. So when I read these stories, I can read the headline, read the story, and tell you what actually, and I can tell what the story is actually saying, rather than what it wants to tell you. So I thought it was good to then start collating this news and saying it in a way that I feel is the right spin on the information, rather than twisting it in order to defend bad practice or to be dickish. So basically we've been thinking about it, and we've been taking some input, we've been coming up with, got a few different video titles just so you know what to expect from us going forward. So I think it's 7 to like 8 different kinds of videos, and we're going to title them differently. It's not going to be, some are going to be more regular than others, and I'll explain as I go through this list. First thing that we've had a couple of now is the Anarchic Eye, and that's going to be the news, current events, news, and occasionally something in there. The last few times I've done something, I did an unboxing of Ni no Kuni, just a quick one because I had it. And in the last one I did, I just went over some of the PS2 games I've just picked up, just because there was no other place for it, and I thought it was just a nice thing to add. Maybe something to add as a separate video to go forward. But anyway, that's going to be the Anarchic Eye, and obviously the naming reason behind that is it's to look at things with an anarchic point of view, and to see without, to see through what the structure and the organisation and how they try and sell these things to you. So that's going to be essentially our news channel, and that's show. We're not going to putting up different channels just seems a way to click bomb more money, and that's not what we're doing. So that will be probably at least once a week, probably twice, maybe 3 times, depending how busy the news is. We'll try and get this information out there as best we can, as quickly as we can to you guys. The Anarchist Rant I've done one of so far. There have been other ones that you can class as Anarchist Rant, just me sitting down and just raging about something. And that's going to be for a big thing. One big topic. And it's going to be me at a fairly length, going off on exactly why I'm angry about something and why we think it's wrong and what can be done about it, if anything. So that's going to be for a particular news story. So, for example, the Microsoft 720 news about the used game ban and the always online didn't include that, and referred to it in the Anarchic Eye, but wanted to do a full anarchist rant about it because of my frustrations. We did the previous videos about the Sony one, so a lot of that was already covered, but wanted to talk about how gaming journalists are being such arseholes about the whole thing and not supporting the community. So that's what the anarchist rants are going to be. Another thing we want to do, because a lot of people have come back to me and said, I didn't even know this game existed or this game was coming out, and there seems to be nowhere that does this. So we're going to start a video, and it's going to be probably once a month or once every 2 months. Probably once a month, and it's going to cover the releases. So it's going to just be called What's Out. Maybe change that name, something like that. So we're going to cover the games that are being released on the Xbox 360, the PS3, PC on disc. Not going to go into everything on Steam. That's just that would take 101 years. But just major releases on disc for the PC, releases on the 3DS, and releases on the Vita and the Wii U. So just what's coming out this month and next month, basically. So when I record the first one, it will be for February and March, and then the next one will be for April, May. So it'll be once a month, and it'll cover the following 2 months. It'll follow a month or so. So we're going to try and do that. Don't do it too regularly. Get it all in one place. Obviously, in cases like, for example, if you were looking forward to, if you had pre-ordered, like I had, Scribblenauts, I pre-ordered on my 3DS, only to find that it's been 2-3 days before release they pushed it back to March. So and it's good to see, for people to see, I think, what's coming out. I mean, it's personally good for me as well to know. So I want to just say any new console bundles coming out, what's coming out, what editions there are of everything, what platforms it's out on. These dates are going to be based on the EU dates, because otherwise it's going to take forever if I cover all the regions. So there may well be a difference. If you're outside of the EU, there may well be a difference. In some cases it's universal dates, in some cases it's staggered, in some cases I might be referring to something that in your region has been out for ages. Particularly Japanese games often come out earlier in Japan, and some of them tend to come out earlier in the US, Japanese games, even though they've been ported into English. For some reason they don't release them to the UK at the same time as the US. Don't know why, but that's life. So it won't necessarily be fully 100% relevant to wherever you live, but want to get that out there and say what's on the way out, and try and give a bit of information about it as we go. This one is essentially, sounds a bit bizarre, but this one essentially isn't for you. Whoever's watching this video is not for you. But we want to put it in there, and we've done a couple so far, just one main one, a month or so ago, and it's the Non-Gamer's Guide 2. The reason behind doing this is basically we want to educate parents, partners, non-gamers. It's something that we want to get out there. It's going to be a lot less sweary. You're not going to see me doing shots on it. It's going to be very PG, very professionally delivered, as much as can do, really. Obviously, I'm not a professional orator or anything, but I just want to explain concepts, explain why something is a problem, maybe, explain basic concepts of the industry, because people don't know. People don't know, for example, if you buy an Xbox, you need to buy Xbox Live to play online. They don't know the difference between a developer and a publisher, which is the one that I've done so far. People just don't know these sort of things. They don't know whether they need an internet connection. They don't know about pre-owned games, that some games have online passes. So we just want to explain these things, and these videos will only be a couple of minutes long, just so they're easy to digest, simple description of things. So that's what we just wanted to do. So that will be, those will just be as and when. Again with the Anarchist Rants, they'll just come out as and when. There'll be another few. One they'll again do now and again. which would just basically so far tentatively titled the GACGM, and that's kind of what this is in essence, and that's the Gaming Anarchist Collective, just a general meeting. So we'll maybe do them as, perhaps we'll do them as live streams, see how many people are interested perhaps in joining in, getting it involved, you know, just communicating what's going on, what initiatives we're doing, whether we need any particular help or anything, where, you know, whether you've got any, you know, things that you want to bring up specifically, and that's going to be basically about the Gaming Anarchist Collective rather than about the news. It will maybe mention things, issues that have come up, and say, well, we want to do something about this, and we want to actually take action. So it would mean maybe everybody, you know, write to a politician or something like that, just bringing up a topic. So that's what those would be, and they'll be, again, as and when, sort of ad hoc, when a situation occurs. Like with this used game issue, if it becomes absolutely certain that this is going ahead, I'm absolutely going to want to call to arms to really do something about it. Because even if you can't do anything about it, the worst they can do is you're going to miss out on some games. Because if you really, really don't believe in it, don't give them money. That's the ultimate answer, don't buy it. That will destroy them. If all gamers decide, I'm not buying that, it's a rip-off, they'll go under. But ideally you want to stop that from happening. You know, we want to stop it from getting that far. I want to help. Really, I don't want Sony to lose hundreds of millions on the PS4, or Microsoft to lose on, you know, the Xbox. Although they might be greedy bloody corporations, they, you know, their consoles have sold well and they've got good games on them. Same as with, you know, with Valve, or, you know, with EA and their poxy origins. You know, just distribution platforms and mediums want to stop them killing themselves. We've already lost THQ and Atari this year. Incidentally, THQ being the first company, I think, to introduce the online pass, so just shows how well it did for them. Okay, something else I want to do, which is going to be something we'll do monthly, and that's going to be the Wall of Shame. And that's where I'm going to do probably the top 10 rundown of douchey companies or people to do with gaming. So if off the top of my head, I would do EA and Capcom will always be somewhere up there. You know, like Leland Yee and Ralph Nader and people like that. Just to, you know, to highlight, these are currently the people who are being the biggest dicks. Because they need to be recorded. These things need to be recorded for posterity. Because the news has like it's like the memory of a goldfish. Although incidentally, goldfish do have memories, but you know, it just goes away. Just goes away. Leland G. People probably didn't remember that Leland G. tried to ban violent video games outright last year or the year before. It turned out to be an unconstitutional law, but people forget these things, and they shouldn't forget these things. So, you know, we want to have this a running monthly. Who's the biggest dickhead? Essentially, but we don't want to make it all doom and gloom, because somebody made a point. You know, like when I brought up Ni no Kuni, and I thought I'd do the little bring out the drippy plush and everything, and you know, we need to highlight the good things. We need to highlight what's good as well. We need to praise what is good practice. We need to talk about things that are generally good, because there's a lot of good out there. There's no point being all doom and gloom. So this one again will be ad hoc as and when, but try and do it fairly regularly to make sure it's not just, oh, everything's terrible and EA's evil and Capcom's evil and Microsoft's evil and Sony's evil and Valve are evil and and everyone's evil and it's all horrible and we should all just give up gaming and just, you know, take up chess again, if you've ever taken up chess. But this one, going to have this one running, just good news, happiness, bit of fun, and that's going to be because, you know, we haven't got enough puns already. The Anarchappiness, hard one to spell, hard one to pronounce really, but yeah, but Anarchappiness. That's just going to be, you know, good news, happy things, good times, things that make me or anyone generally, you know, smile, and this is where I want you guys to get involved. You know, share your information, share good experiences, share bad experiences, share where a store has been a dick, or if a local politician has made an arse of himself, or a company has ripped you off somehow. This is where we need to get together and do this. Ultimately, we want to have more communication between us all, so that will probably necessitate either a website or, with a forum or something or other, just a way that we can all communicate together rather than just using the comment feed of this or other people's videos. We need to get together. And this is why I don't feel bad about doing a bit of shameless plugging for a second here, because it's something that I don't do. Because it's not, we've grown well as a channel over the last month or so, last 2 months. And it's really great, really so grateful for the over 400 subscribers we've got. It's great that you guys have seen what we're doing and want to follow what I've got to say, or what we've got to say. That's great, and the views that we've got, we've had, some good views, even the ones that are only small amounts. It's nice to have those likes and those listen and people to say I agree, because it's very easy for you, for me, for all of us as gamers to feel like when something annoys you, something upsets you, something frustrates you, that you're alone and there's nothing you can do about it. Do you know what? There's thousands, there's millions of us who don't like this stuff. Now, whether it's bad enough to take action about as a community, as a society as such, to take action on it, that's something we should decide between ourselves. If you individually want to take a boycott something or not boycott something, it's entirely your free choice to do so. There's no, you either do this or you're not one of us. The whole fanboy attitude has no place here. We want to include free thinking, disagreement, discussions, but constructively. Because we're all in this together, we all care about the same thing. Whether you like the games that I like, whether you like the platforms I play, whether you like anything about me or not, I still want to welcome you. You're a gamer, you give a shit, then I want to welcome you, whether you like me personally or not. Whether you agree with me personally or not. Feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to disagree with anything, any opinion on these things. Not going to play silly games with trolls, but discussion. You think I'm wrong, change my mind. I'm generally open to admit if you can show me that I'm wrong. Happy to go back on myself. Happy to publicly go back on myself. It's not about me being right. It's not about my opinion being valid. It's about gamers standing together and doing something good. Because even if you want to give up gaming, do you really want to give it up and leave something in a state and say, well, it's bad, and just leave it? Wouldn't you rather be able to be proud of saying, even if you're going to give up gaming tomorrow, maybe if you care, maybe you should get involved anyway, even if you don't have time to play games. Maybe if you could give 10 minutes every now and again, voice an opinion, show some support, and push this channel to other people, let other people see. Let them make a choice whether they want to be involved in this. Genuinely, we want people to be involved in a serious way. We want people to coordinate on behalf of countries and regions. We want to run events. We want to do charitable fundraisers. We want to show as much as we can that the gaming community is worthwhile and we are all decent people. And if there are those of us who aren't decent people, and that we can show that we have the maturity and the sense to turn to those people and tell them exactly what we think of them. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. It's been a pretty boring video, I'm sure, but I just wanted to get that information out there and just explain what's happening and what's going on. And incidentally, I'm going to add our Yahoo Messenger account on their Skype account. I'll put my PSN and Xbox tags on there. If you guys want to communicate with me, get involved, or just to chat about games. If you don't want to get actually involved, if you just want to feel to get in touch with more people, to touch base with more gamers, then That's what we want to be here for. We want to be here to bring people together. It's not a popularity contest. Anyway, take care of yourself, guys.